and namaste. My name is Minnku, your host from India, and welcome to this very, very special Christmas episode of our talk show, Choosing Joy, Secrets, and Stories from Around the World. Now, as you know, these episodes are fueled by an intention to bring attention back to our attitudes towards joy. And our theme today, colors speak volumes. My speaker today is the author of Colorful Boardrooms and has pioneered an approach that has helped hundreds of senior leaders, of coaches, consultants, therapists, and organizational development specialists to unravel their emotional blocks so that they can enjoy more meaningful relationships with themselves and others. In her own words, she says, presence happens when you are plugged in and you realize that every moment, every breath is the unfolding of your own beautiful fragrance. And how beautiful is that? Like a thousand petal lotus, you are a unique spark of cosmic consciousness. And my role is to support those doing world work to be in serenity, which comes with your full acceptance of the divine masculine and the divine feminine that resides within you. And together we can create the world of tomorrow today. Such wonderful thoughts. So join me to welcome my very, very dear guest speaker today, Kate Griffiths, all the way from the United Kingdom. A merry welcome, Kate.
Oh, I love that merry welcome. That's fantastic. Hello, Minnku. It's so lovely to be with you, and I really appreciate the invitation. And I'm really looking forward to diving into colour with you.
Uh, Thank you, Kate. I know that, we've always connected at a very soulful connection, and that's why I was looking forward to this conversation with you today at a deeper level. So, Kate, let's jingle bell, jingle bell all the way today to the rapid fire round. And but for now, to bring value to our customers, sorry, our listeners, your future customers, I want to ask you now that the work that you do, the tools you use to unravel these emotional blocks have such a particular fascination and emphasis on color. So may I ask you, Kate, why is color such a powerful force in our lives? It's from what I understand, it's powerful enough to affect our bodies, our minds, our emotions. And how is that even possible? That a lot of people don't know this. So love to, if you could throw some light on this.
No pun intended, light, colour. Sorry. Um, so if we imagine, Minnku, that consciousness was like, I mean, it isn't a line, but if it was and it was sat there, then immediately under pure consciousness, you have sound. So if we think about, when you listen to particular types of music, and this is for anybody, how it makes you feel really amazing, and sometimes it can make us feel really sad, all sorts of emotions. And so that's sound, and then just underneath sound comes colour. So it's really close to pure consciousness. So that's one way of describing, how it works. I mean, obviously it doesn't go into the detail of it. And I think for me, the thing about colour is, it's like you look at a bottle and I show you maybe two bottles and say, well, which one do you prefer? And so you're choosing, not with your mind, but with your heart or your soul. And so you're connecting at that level, and it allows you to really start to build that intuitive intelligence, which sits within each of us. But I think the thing about colour is that it's about building that intuitive muscle and trusting it. Because if we think about education, traditional education is all about knowledge, about data, about facts, learning them, memorising it, regurgitating it. Whereas intuition is really about, how do you feel about this? What are you sensing in the environment? And you spoke right at the beginning when you were sort of, I think, doing the introduction about the connection between us and how, I feel that too. I love being in the same space as you. And I can't say that about everyone, but that's because of our energetic connection. And I guess with colour, it's reminding us that we are always vibrating at a certain frequency, even if we're not aware of it. And if you imagine you've got your aura sat around you, I mean, not everyone can see their aura, but we're aware of it. So if we get too close to somebody, it can feel a bit uncomfortable because it's our energy, say from our aura, and their energy mixing, and then you get sort of an experience of that. But equally, it's as if there are, whenever anything difficult or negative happens, you know, if we take trauma and simply describe it as an unmet need, we've all had that. We've all have unmet needs within us, and therefore wounds. They're almost represented by black holes in our aura. We can't see them, but if you know, scientifically, we know if you got close to a black hole, it would suck the energy in, suck anything in. And so when we work with colour, it's like it's pouring love and is pouring energy into that black hole, and therefore healing it so it's no longer visible in the aura. So instead of coming from the ego state where we might react and say, oh, that person's this, that and the other, and do a lot of blame or get angry, it's like we can see what's happening and these things still play out, but we're in the observer role rather than being in the thick of it and believing it. So it's a bit like, I would say, with Indian, my understanding of sort of Indian spirituality, you know, the third dimensional reality is the Maya, but most people never see beyond the Maya, and it's only an illusion, and actually life is something else, and it's about seeing beyond that, and I think that's what colour helps people to do.
Oh, that is so beautiful, Kate, and I love how the knowledge and the wisdom you bring in this healing, almost like a therapy sessions, are so universal. And this is when you start realizing that humanity can speak one single language, and that's getting to get out of your head and connect to what really matters. In also what you said about self-acceptance. And color, Kate, from what I'm understanding from you, also expresses suppressed and repressed emotions, right? And so, Kate, for me, life is really like a rainbow, and I'm an artist, and I lead meditation sessions in my self-mastery programs, and I use colors as a pranic healer. If I can say, I literally romance colors, and that's why I love your bottles in your beautiful fluid colors that your color bottles have, which I would like to show our audience in a bit. Now, I wanted to share something interesting with you, Kate. I actually took your color quiz.
Oh, did you?
I did. And surprisingly, I always thought that I was going to be a warm orange or a cadmium palette person. Yet I am a blue.
Yeah, no, I can believe that. But
Yes.
it's so true though. Do you know why you're blue?
Uh-huh.
Because blue people, I mean, obviously you're not blue skin, but blue people are real optimists. And
Yeah.
one thing I know about you, Minnku, is you always see the best in everybody, whether it's me or someone else. You're always looking for the positives. Whereas a red, which is the color I know that you associate probably more with, because there is a red in the, you know, the color quiz.
Right.
The red person tends to be very angry,
Oh.
maybe not outwardly, but underneath. And so they can see every little issue and sort of like, oh, that person's, you know, never buys a drink at the pub or whatever it is. You know, they
Right.
remember all the
Right.
things that aren't
Mhm.
maybe perfect about somebody, and so they get very irritable. And of course, you're not that, and so you couldn't ever be a red. It doesn't mean that red people, you know, the great thing about being red, because somebody gets that and they think, oh, I don't want to be this, is because of that sort of grit, if you like. Once they sort of transmute that, they often get closer to the divine than any of the rest of us, because it's quite a journey to get to turn that around. So there's always a positive within every negative, if you know what I mean. But that's why you're a blue. And also the blue person loves beauty, you know, and loves beautiful things around them and almost wants to acquire them, you know, because they can see the value that they hold. And so that's also part of your energy. So yeah, I can definitely see that.
so uncanny. I mean, that behavioral aspect of the quiz was so bang on. And I love that part, Kate, where it says, you float with ease on the dance floor. Now, that's an aspect of blue as well. And I said, bingo. Now, if I took that a little away from the blue and I talked about Christmassy colors, you've talked
Yeah.
about the red. Now, Kate, what would the green? I mean, I'm wearing green today. I just feel like so jingly and, the Christmas season,
Yeah.
the big hearted, it's just around the corner. So how would you interpret? Does the color choose you or you choose the color? How do you interpret these choices that we make?
Right, so there's sort of just really briefly two different things. So the colour quiz, which we were talking about, only has three colours. So they're the
Right.
three primary colours, red, blue and yellow. Um, but obviously when we're working with colour, as you rightly say, there's every colour of the rainbow. So in the colour bottles, of which there are 87, there are quite a few green bottles.
Wow.
So generally, when somebody comes for a session, it's usually because there's something, a degree of unease or dis-ease that they want to work on. And then they would look at the bottles and they might be drawn to a particular bottle. So in a sense, they're choosing the bottle, but maybe the bottle's choosing them, who knows? But it's so powerful that then sort of conversations start to emerge. So I actually brought a green bottle. So I'm going to show you the bottle and you can tell me
Right.
what comes up for you when you look at this green bottle.
Okay.
How does that make you feel, or what
Uh,
associations do you
well,
get?
definitely not green with envy,
No.
but uh, yeah, kind of placid. I think very neutral, very fluid. Surprisingly, doesn't invoke too many emotions in me.
No.
For me, it comes out as very, very floaty.
Yeah, and you use the word fluid, which I really like, because the bottle itself is called Mercury, and
Ah,
Mercury
lovely.
was the god
Mhm.
that was responsible for communication. And of course, here you are running a show which is all about
Great.
communicating to a wide number of people, expanding your audience. So often people that are attracted to that sort of colour can be really great communicators. And it's something that's natural within them, so they don't even see it as a skill because they assume
Right.
everybody's got that skill. The challenge with that bottle, because although colours aren't dualistic, we always look at the positive and negative because that tends to be how humans look at things, is often people, because they want to come across in a particular way, will hide aspects of themselves and only show what they feel others will consider to be acceptable. So
Right.
there's a bit of a trickster energy, we call it like coyote, kind of like not sure what's going to happen here. And the way we would look at it is almost like the mask, the mask that people wear to
Or
be
would it also
acceptable.
be like the imposter syndrome, kind of?
Can be, it's not, less imposter I mean, it could be that, but it's more that whole piece around, well, in this place, I'm going to stand here or sit here in this way, and I'm going to present myself in this way because I know that that is what's going to, or I assume that that's what's going to get me what I want, rather than going, well, this is who I am and I'm going to be myself in whatever situation. So, the mask that we wear
Right.
when sometimes, if we don't feel entirely comfortable in a situation or
Mhm.
that kind of thing. So, it's saying just be careful about that, and about the more awareness we have, then the less likely we are to do that. And the other sort of thing about green, which relates to Christmas, because you know how, well, certainly in England, there's lots of Christmas parties, there's
Right.
all the presents, and there's so much to do and run a business or go to work, depending on what. So people can get really stressed because they feel
Mm.
really busy. And green is, again, it's like you said, almost it can be that calming colour of like, okay, and breathe, and actually I'm going to have a day's retreat, or I'm going to go and do some breathing practice on my own or whatever. So there's something about that space and that beingness, um, and being aware of our boundaries. So
Right.
maybe having clearer boundaries about, no, I'm not going to do that because I don't have time or it doesn't feel aligned to who I am.
That is so beautiful, Kate. In fact, you've just answered something that was popping up in my mind. For example, if I wanted to make this very real, sometimes I just stand in front of my wardrobe, and loads of us, right? Especially when we have too much on our minds and we are stressed and we are so confused. We look at our wardrobe, and each one of us has wardrobes that 50%, as we've all realized, 2 years of COVID, we've all lived in six-track pants. So I'm
Yeah.
not even sure why we have those big wardrobes. But now, when you talk about green bringing you that stability and that placidness and that calmness, so are you suggesting that the day that I feel overwhelmed and stressed, should I be reaching out to a green? So I need to understand my colors. Is that what you're saying? So I need to be wearing green to feel
I
calm?
mean, yeah, so it could be exactly that. And I think the first thing with wardrobes, almost, Minku, is to kind of look at your wardrobe and just see, well, how much do I have? You've probably got loads of colours, but you might find there's one colour
Hmm.
that really stands out, that you have more of that particular colour than another. And that gives us a clue to who you are or how you show up. So, I mean, if you know the answer, we could have a look at that, because that kind of
Yeah.
gives us insights into.
Kate, very pat on. I've worked as an artist with brilliant colors, psychedelic colors, and I love colors. But just recently, in the last 2, 3 years, I find myself gravitating to very pastels. And, I was just trying to peep into my inner image of my wardrobe as you spoke. And I kind of think I have a lot of white right now. I mean, I have linens and cottons and silks, and they're mostly beiges and whites. So, what is that showing me, according to you?
Okay, so we don't have a beige colour. We've got copper, which is a very solid colour, so it's unlikely to be that. But it may almost be like a pale beige, can almost be like a pale gold.
Hmm?
So it's quite a high frequency colour, and it's really about stepping into your power, and being authentically you and doing it in your own way. And actually, in many respects, quite links quite nicely to what has been a theme for this year of 2021. And white, obviously, I mean, I'm wearing white, as you can see, and the reason I'm
Can I ask
wearing
you?
white,
Hmm.
is that when we work with colour, we always wear white, because it doesn't detract, it doesn't take away from whatever the colours that people are choosing. And as you know, I have my white cloth when I'm showing the colours and so on, like that. And so white is, there's a purity about white, and it's often we find ourselves attracted to it when we're maybe going through an up leveling process, and really connecting at a soul level, because you could say it's the congealed light of the soul. So if you think about all the work that you've been doing, over the years before I even knew you, it's always been, broadly, I guess, around the personal development space.
Always.
And so you're now expanding
Hmm.
into into more of the light, because you need every color. If you think about a prism, you have the rainbow of colors go through the prism to create white light.
So beautiful, Kate. I love that explanation, and I resonate. In fact, I had this tingling all over my body when you spoke, and I connect to this, right? And that's why all the rishis and the munis and the evolved people, the masters, are always in white. I totally get it. Now, there's another thing that really stuck in my mind about Kate, the work that you do, and you said there's who we think we are and what we say we are, and then what happens or spills out from the subconsciousness. Now, you're doing some fantastic, I've been following up on LinkedIn, you're doing such fantastic stuff on whole self leadership, and you have pioneered this unique approach that uses color to draw what's hidden at the subconscious level. So let's assume that something has popped up, and once it's revealed, Kate, where would you go from there? What do you do with it?
Um, so I guess it, I'm trying to think of an example, because it's sometimes easier for people if they can hang on to an idea rather than talking in generality. So let me
Right.
think. So I had a client a few years ago who approached me. The presenting issue, so what she was aware of was, I'm a coach, I'm not really making the kind of money that I would like to make. Can you help me make more money? So on the surface, it looked like, how do I, run my business more effectively? So we had a session. She knew about my work and how I work. So we have a session, and all this stuff starts to come out about, actually, I don't really like relating to people. And this is all through the colours. I find, and she's quite brusque in her manner, and wasn't English, but living in England. So that, you can imagine that created a barrier in some respects. But we kept working, and I suppose the deeper work, and that's the work that I do now really, is I work often with people that have been abused or had really serious stuff happen, that sort of seem to find me. When it turned out with this particular individual, they didn't really have a relationship with their mother. It wasn't a good relationship, and it was affecting everything else. And because actually, interestingly, and now I showed you, well, I showed the viewers, but I've got this bottle to show you, because this is your birthday bottle, the 18 bottle. And it's got, as you said, the almost garnet red over the pink. And pink is red with white light shone through it. So effectively it's another form of red, as you know. But so red is the colour we associate with mothers. It's also the colour we associate with money. So often we're not making money when there's an issue, an unhealed aspect of our relationship with our mother. Because if you think about it, when we were kids, we might have got smacked on the bottom or told off or sent to the naughty step, or, sent to our bedroom.
All of us. Yeah.
But as adults, we don't do that to ourselves because we've kind of grown out of that. But obviously, so how do we punish ourselves? We punish ourselves by turning off the abundance tap. And suddenly everything becomes hard, because it's like we haven't got any money, so we can't go out with our friends for a drink or for dinner or whatever it is. And that's how we do it. So when there's a disconnect with mum, it often shows up in terms of, I can't make money. So, but it's nothing to do with the processes of, how do you run a coaching business or any other kind of business, and all to do with what's going on the inside. And that's why I really like colour, because really quickly, within say 20 minutes or so, you can start to get really deep and sort of see what's there. The challenge is that it's not for the faint-hearted. So I've had quite a few people, like the woman I was telling you about earlier. It's taken her 3 years to say, yeah, I'm ready to do this work, because it's quite scary. How do you know all this about me? But it's not about that. It's really about helping them to kind of bring it up to the surface so it can be healed, and then they can move on.
That is amazing, powerful work that you're doing, Kate. And it takes courage to be vulnerable. It takes courage to say, I'm going to open this dark cupboard full of skeletons. Kate, that was so beautiful. Almost what, the painter Monet says, color is his day-long obsession. It's his joy, his torment. So that's exactly how you beautifully embodied that. Thank you so, so much for that, Kate. And now let's hope that the world out there and our listeners can reach out to you and bring this colorful world to the inside journey as well, and your beautiful interpretations of healing. Let's move on to the rapid fire round.
Okie dokie.
So now again, I feel, our most natural vibration, Kate, is joy. And that's why, even though we are talking at such a deep level and we're talking about healing at a deep level, after all, we must embrace the most natural vibration, which is joy. So these answers, please keep it to 1 or 2 words, maximum align, relax, be joyful as the colored, beautiful, joyful bottles that you use for therapy. And let's start with the first question, Kate. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
As always, the color that never fails to make you joyful.
Oh, coral.
Oh, very unusual. Love that. Name one unusual and delightful color that's not well known to people but is magical.
Oh, well, I'm going to say ultraviolet, which isn't exactly a colour, but there's a bottle in our system which is clear and has sparkly bits in that almost gives you that sense of ultraviolet.
Love that. That sounds so angelic. You know what color comes to me right now as you spoke? Periwinkle. Isn't
Oh, wow, that's a gorgeous colour, yeah.
it actually just popped up again to do with our vibrations. So, Kate, the next one, when someone says, I have led a pretty colorful life, what comes to your mind? The little
Um,
naughty one, but whatever comes to your mind, Kate.
well, actually, in colour terms, the colour orange comes to my mind because you think about sensuality and perhaps, being really comfortable with your body and being able to, do lots of things and perhaps have lots of partners or, doing, that sort of thing. So that's where I went to.
I am really surprised you did not say orange is the new black, but thank you. Let's go to the next one. Complete this statement. The world is my canvas, and you could complete it the way you want to. The world is my canvas,
And the, oh gosh.
sorry, did I miss out on an answer here? But
No, 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 it's fine. Sorry, Minku. I started to say something and I thought, oh, I don't know if that makes sense. My mind got in the way. See, I have one too.
oh, just be raw, Kate. This is the opportunity. Just throw, it to the universe.
Yeah. The world is my canvas, and there is room for every colour and every expression of every sub-colour within it.
Oh, how awesome. I think this is going to resonate and you're going to stew. I have a feeling you're going to stew on this later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you could paint sunsets in a different color, what would that be?
If I could do what? Sorry, I didn't
If
hear
you
the...
could paint a sunset in a
Yeah.
different color, what color would that be?
Oh, the colours that are coming to me are indigo, almost like the night sky with a bit of fading into sort of violet with some sparkly stars in it.
That is so beautiful. Thank you, Kate. That was it. You just
Wow.
sailed through it beautifully. And I think it's prompted perhaps a few things for you to stew on for yourself. And I
That's
love that. Thank you for your honesty. Now, on this last episode of 2021, I have chosen a quote by Siobhan Vivian. And she says, fall colors are funny, bright, intense, and beautiful. It's like the nature is trying to fill you with colors to saturate you so you can stockpile it for winter before winter turns everything into muted and dreary. So I love that by Vivian. I take this opportunity to express gratitude for all the love and the unconditional support I've received from all our listeners from all over the world. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you haven't liked, subscribed, and pressed the bell icon, do so on my YouTube channel so we can stay connected. And with that, Kate, please join me to say bye. And before we do that, where can everyone find you? Because the amount of good work you're doing, where do they find you?
Oh, bless you. Thank you so much, Minko. It's been so wonderful being a part of your Christmas episode and the colours of joy, red and green. So yes, I am generally on Instagram or LinkedIn. Those are the places. And usually with my moniker Whole Self Leadership on Instagram, and obviously as Kate Griffiths on LinkedIn. And yeah, if people want to know more, then I really recommend they get the book Colourful Boardrooms. But if they sign up for my newsletter, they get a couple of chapters of it anyway, so they can get a sense of whether that's something they want to dive into deeper.
So wonderful. I resonate with every speck every drop of those color bottles of yours. Kate, thank you in saying bye to 2021. This was so special. I'm so glad I could do it with you. And let's usher 2022 and hope this is going to be brilliant, healthy, and safe for everyone. And we all achieve what we want in 2022. So join me in saying bye to our audience.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much
And
for being here and listening. And do subscribe to Minnku's channel.
thank you. Stay safe, stay joyful, and I will see you on the 1st of January with the next episode in 2022.
Wow.
Cheers. Bye now.
Bye.